A new substitute has been brought in.
My name is Mr. Parakowski.
To issue the final exam.
Never judge a book by its cover. You wouldn't be threatening me, would you?
Friction creates a spark.
It's good to be back in your crib.
Good to have you.
Welcome to The Good, the Bad, and the Sequel. This is the movie podcast where we're talking sequels, and we do it in two parts. The first, an interview with an actor or someone involved that made the film worth watching. And the second, a discussion of the sequel, what they got right, what they got wrong, and how it could have been better. Hope you enjoyed last week's interview. With man, what a great actor, and what an amazing voice. So calm, soothing. Eduardo Ballerini talked about his career that, hey, right after college, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to do acting, and everything just works out. And the way he was landing some of these jobs, like one a staple for my childhood, John Leguizamo's Pest. Then he goes on to be in Sopranos, 24. It just so happened everything that he was in, it was a time that people started watching 24. It was a time that people just fell in love with this character because of the storyline with Christopher on The Sopranos, and so much more. So if you haven't listened to that, be sure to check it out, but not before we talk about it. It's just kind of like regenerated, I guess, my invigorated my energy for these sequels, because we watched some that are Daredevil was great, but Tree Williams better. And I'm talking Substitute 2, School's Out. And before I talk about the fact that there's like a gated part of a school, and the fact that the janitor might have weapons hiding in the basement, I got to introduce you to my partner in this sequel watching journey, Jamie Riccardi. Jamie, how are you?
I'm doing okay, Doug. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. This is the 90s genre of those type of action movies. Like what this is really is a callback to the 80s. And I love it. This was the content that was going straight to VHS, straight to Showtime, Cinemax, those type of movies. And
you should have went straight to the garbage.
What?
Straight to okay. Listen, I mean, before you.
Wow.
Okay. What I did like about this movie, and there wasn't a lot, because I mean, it's a cheeseball movie, right? And I get, I get the genre that it is, but it felt like, first of all, the look of it looked like it was taped on like a cell phone or like a camcorder. Like it had that like Hallmark like look to it. Yes, it wasn't. Okay. What I did like though are the kids in the classroom. Like their banter with the teacher like was very good. Like they played those roles perfectly. They, like just the attitude they had, and just I felt like it, like they really were like what the role they were portraying. So I like those kids. I think they did a great job acting. The rest of the movie, I mean, all right, because here's a big problem I have. There's two themes in this movie, right? There's a theme of revenge, and there's a theme of, you don't have to go down that path of, crime. Yet, the end of the movie, he murders someone in front of all these kids. He's telling these kids, don't, kill, don't shoot, don't do these things. Like, you don't have to do that. And like, he's trying to be a role model to, obviously some of these kids in his classroom. And then he does the complete opposite at the end of the movie.
Well, he would have got monkey wrenched if he didn't do anything.
He could have subdued him somehow, but he literally murdered in front of these kids who are basically murdering on a daily basis. And you're trying to tell them to stop when they're watching you? I don't like that.
I learned it from you, Dad.
I don't like that message. So it kind of defeats the purpose of him trying to be that good teacher to get him out of trouble when you're basically bringing trouble to them.
Well, the one person he was really trying to help out, Mace, he didn't end up. It ended up pretty bad for him.
You know what? My guess is the rest is going to follow that. You know what? All right, we'll get to the end because there's definitely.
Well, the kicker. What do you mean? The kicker goes on to be the kicker for the Southwest Louisiana Mud Dogs, and he has some pretty big kicks in the Bourbon Bowl. He's the kicker from Adam Sandler's Waterboy.
No, and there's also the guy. There's one guy that was in Walking Dead that died on Walking Dead. One of the main guys. But I mean, all right, I don't want to get into the end because we're going to get there, but it's just ridiculous. I think the theme that you're trying to, get these kids on the straight and narrow, and then you do basically what you're telling them not to do, and you're doing it in front of all these kids. Which
you wanted like a Miyagi? You wanted a Miyagi honk.
Yeah, you know what? I'd rather see a Miyagi honk in front of these students. That again, it'd be one thing if you did it in front of students that are not violent kids, but you're talking about students that are basically murderers themselves. You're telling them, listen, there's a better way, but you don't have the better way. You have murder. So yeah, okay, we'll get there. But I'm just saying.
Could you imagine if you didn't do it and then crime stopped?
It's very possible. They respected them afterwards.
New York, no murders in New York since a Green Beret guy that somehow became a teacher in 2 days.
Okay, yeah. I mean, the way he becomes, oh yeah, we just got to enter you in the system. Like that was one of the things they said. I don't think it works that way. I think you got to get fingerprinted. You got to do, I don't think schools would let just anyone come in.
Maybe for that job. Maybe for like a good school, they'd be like, oh, we got to vet you. For this place, they're probably like, when can you start?
I guess, the line isn't probably that long for replacements. So yeah, I guess. But the other thing is, and again, we say this in a lot in movies, and especially this one, he wears like a dress coat the entire movie. Yeah. How do you I mean, like that's got to be uncomfortable when you're constantly fighting. Why are you wearing that?
Fighting? I can't even sit in the car when I'm 100%.
100%. Okay, right. You when you sit in a car, you go to a wedding. What's the first thing you want to do? You want to get that jacket off you so you can move around, dance, and go right. This guy is fighting, and no problem, still wearing the suit all throughout the whole movie. He's wearing that jacket throughout the whole movie.
Good old treat. Right. So this movie opens up to, again, I watched this movie like, I think it was maybe right after he passed. I know I watched it during COVID, but then when he passed away, I went like a Tree Williams kick, did like Dead Heat, and I watched all these movies. I just think he's such a great actor. I remember he has a very small part remember the movie What Happens in Vegas? Oh no, was it? Yeah, What Happens in Vegas?
Martin Lawrence
with like Ashton Kutcher.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I know you're talking about.
Yeah, they get married after one night. Yeah. He plays the dad, and he plays Ashton Kutcher's dad, and he's barely in it. But I'm like, this guy's so good. He takes his role of shooting hoops to the sun, and he like whoops Ashton Kutcher's ass in basketball. And he like turns it into like, wow, this guy's he just has this presence about him. Well, I think he had that ever since he started.
He reminds me of what's his face from Married with Children, Darcy's husband.
Jefferson.
He looks like Jefferson. Like he has that
Ted
look
McGinley.
to him. Yeah. I was thinking that when I first saw him, like this, he looks just like Ted McGinley could have played this role. Like he looked just like him.
Yeah.
So
no, 100%.
But I mean, listen. I like movies that start off the way this one does, where basically it goes right into it. Like there were no credits.
Crazy.
Like the credits came at kind of after. Like the movie
we
just started.
We get Alice Cooper for a while,
and I never heard that version before. I was like a different version.
Actually, was pretty good at first. Yeah, because it was so fast, and I've never heard a cover of that song. I was like, are they ripping the words? Are they just changing every other word or something?
I didn't think it was Alice Cooper. I thought it was someone covering because it was a different version. So I'm like,
it was. It was. Yeah.
No, it was Alice Cooper because I did a SoundCloud to it, and it came up with Alice Cooper. I actually looked up the soundtrack to substitute to, and it was Alice Cooper.
I'm mind blowing because that's a sped up version of it. That's I know. They would do
it was a different kind of version. That's why I was like, it's pretty not bad. I want to download this, and no, it was Alice Cooper.
Good old Alice Cooper.
Yeah.
So yeah, like you said, gets right to it. We get a red sports car. We get these. We get a probably decent looking girl, right? She's in the red sports car, and I've never seen this used in movies. And correct me if I'm wrong. Pretty cool idea, right?
I know
backwards heading with the eyes.
I wrote that down. I'm like, I have never seen that. Yeah, I'm surprised that it didn't take off. Like criminals today, they don't even wear a mask. But like back in the day, okay, and think about it. If you had a choice between putting a stocking on your head or wearing your hood backwards, I go for the hood. The stocking
Who
thing
the hell ever
never made sense.
Who the hell chose that idea? Instead of putting like, hey, you want to use a ski mask? Hey, man, those things are too expensive. It's cutting into our cash flow when we rob the bank. Let's just put on mom's stocking.
How do you take someone serious with their, because it doesn't cover your face, it just smushes it. So it's like, you still can kind of see who it is, and you still have it dangling. Like, it looks so stupid. It's like, so, I mean, I know they do it in movies a lot for bank robberies, but do you think they really did that in real life? Because it's so dumb. Like, it's
honestly, in any of those documentaries I've ever seen about bank robbers, I've never seen that. But no, it's just so silly. Like, what if they're sitting around the table, and it's like, all right, here's a bank robber today, and the mom goes in her drawer, she can't find her stockings. Hey, where's my stocking? Hey, that's my stocking. And then it's just a weird thing to put on.
You know, it'd be funny if you had like two like idiot bank robbers who didn't separate the stockings, like they got like the pantyhose, and so they're stuck walking together because they use the same pantyhose.
That'd be funny. That'd be perfect for our idea of doing like new of those old like national, like the loaded weapons.
Yeah.
No, that'd be a good bit in there. But so then they show up, and then they're gonna rob the girl again. You have insurance, right? They're not going to, you would think most of the time people aren't going to kill. Like, they just want to steal the item. And then you get a man who, for some reason, like, get it.
No, I know. But before we even get there, though, like, they were going pretty fast down the street, right? They were like flying down there. Why didn't she just like stop short, let the car fly down there?
No one ever does that. Why does anybody ever do that?
They never do. Especially like when someone's robbing a car, they don't have their seatbelt on. You stop short if you're going super fast, they're gonna go flying through the windshield, right? I mean, so like they never stop short because she easily could have done a K-turn if she's good at it, fast enough before they turn around, and maybe had a chance to get away. And no, she's speeding along with them. That made no sense.
Yeah, no, so dumb. And you know what? Honestly, I always think about. When you're in a situation, like I've never been in like a really terrifying situation, but I would really hope that kicks in. Like if somebody was ever chasing me and then I did the old like slam the brakes and they go, oh, it worked. Like it worked. If so many people in movies would have done this, they'd be alive today in the movie world.
And maybe in their defense, when push comes to shove and you're in a situation of panic mode, does your brain function that fast to say, you know what, this is something that's going to work, right? I mean, so
it's probably just like go fast, go fast, go fast, go fast, and you like your foot is just on the pedal and you can't.
Well, it's the same thing as like, all right, when she finally pulls over, like they get out of the car, step on the gas, like they would need time to get and so like the minute you stop and wait, two things are going to happen. One, they're going to steal your car, and two, most likely they're going to kill you. So why not try to get away at that point when they're out of, let them shoot at you. I mean, shoot at the car. I mean, the good chance they're going to miss, but she didn't do that either. So she wasn't the brightest bulb.
No, she was. And then you get a nice innocent bystander who looked like he was getting some groceries. Like, I know they lived in a rough net when we see Anya's house and we see her dad's house. Like, I know they're in a rough neighborhood, which why would you leave your kids there? It seemed like he chose to live there. It seemed like he probably could have hit up, his brother for some money, but we'll get into that. But the fact that he tries to de-escalate the situation is just frightening. And the fact that she was like, oh, thanks, mister. You're really cool for talking to them. I'm going to run now. It's like, oh my God.
Yeah. Well, I mean, my guess is like he lives for that stuff because he's also, like his brother, right? So I think they like to have, like they like that because they're always so calm in those situations, right? Like they act like they don't know what they're doing. They're like, please guys stop, whatever. And like even when what's his name comes over, wearing his suit, he's always so calm, right? And so like first of all, wouldn't you love just to know that you have those skills to take someone down? So you could be calm in those situations and then just start using them. Like, how awesome would that be? Like, have the Chuck Norris skills behind you, yeah.
That'd be the greatest thing. It's like being a superhero. You're like, yeah, whatever, man. You can talk all you want. I'm not going to do anything. Like Superman 2 when he goes back to the diner and when he has his powers again. But she runs, and I don't know what style that was when this movie came out. No, the
Oh,
woman,
I thought you
she
meant-
was,
oh,
she was
yeah,
wearing a
yeah.
garbage bag dress.
Yeah.
It was like very thin plastic. I'm like, oh my God. And the craziest part was after he gets shot, and then the guy, hey, what are you doing, man? I thought we were going to shoot anybody. And then he finishes it off. Sorry, Mr.
No, they
Robinson,
both
right?
shot one. They both shot.
They
someone.
both shot him.
Yeah.
And then the one guy, for some dumb
know.
reason, the guy thinks, oh, I shot him too, but you're going to actually finish him off?
Yeah. That made no sense. I mean, first of all, I think he was smart to finish him off. I mean, if you're going to shoot someone, if you're going to shoot someone, like that, you might as well just finish the job.
Yeah, because most of the time, if you're shooting someone, you're shooting them to kill them.
Correct.
So if you miss, you're going to be like, it's not even really, oh shit, I'm going to, I'll pick it up later.
I want to say that I don't condone shooting anyone, but if you are going to shoot someone, you might as well do it all the way.
Yeah, you got to do it all. But the fact that he shoots him and he's like, sorry, Mr. Tomlinson. And then they get in the car. We get like probably not a helicopter shot. It's like a high shot, right? And we see the lady moving. And I'm like, what? So this guy, not saying he died for nothing because she's alive, but
she was playing possum. She was playing possum. She was just laying there.
Now, was she playing possum, or did the actress move and they didn't notice it until they did editing? Because why would she move? That has nothing to do with the story. She wasn't interviewed or anything. You know who was interviewed?
Right.
It would make sense if she got interviewed and then she was the one that he was protecting, not the guy that owned like the auto body or the convenience store.
You mean the guy that decided to wait until 2 murders happened before he called the cops? I mean, clearly you see something going on right now. Why was he was watching. He was watching the entire thing. He saw the whole thing. He waited for them to get shot and killed, because there was a long time in between, right? There was the holdup. Yeah. They smashed the car. Like, he saw all that. He heard that. Why did he wait so long to call the cops?
Yeah, he shouldn't have waited. He should have right away. He should have just picked up the phone.
Yes.
But maybe the fear of, because they're like the gang. So there's like a gang.
But he did it anyway.
Yeah.
He did it anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, okay. At that point, why even bother then? Again, you really,
That's
I mean,
true.
like if he has a fear of the gang, and they're already dead, at that point, why bother? If you're trying to do the right thing,
you're saving future victims, but not the victim that you watched.
Correct. That's yeah. All right.
God, how great was when you think about the entrance, and how much I love cheese. Like, I love these type of movies. You can write a cheesier that kind of thing in a great way. Like, that is why you watch a genre of type of movie like this. They're doing the funeral, and he gets there. He's on like a hill, and he has the giant bag.
It's so. I mean, this is his brother. I mean, that's how you show up to the funeral. First of all, so he clearly knew about the funeral. One, he's late. So he's late to the funeral. First of all, he doesn't even make the funeral because he basically comes there as everybody's leaving. So he missed his brother's funeral, and he dressed like a hobo. Getting there.
And it's not like he reached out to Anya and said like, "Hey, I'm in Cambodia or I'm in this place. Like, hey, I'll be there this day. Move the wake one day ahead and the whole services." No, he just he could have, that was like maybe the best case scenario they got there at that point. But the one thing about the writing in this movie, it's not even. I think, like you said, the classroom scenes, it seems real.
There was there was writing in this movie. It felt like it was a very there wasn't great dialogue, right? Outside of the kids in the classroom. I think
I agree. It was very one-linery, and Treat Williams has some funny ones. Like, I loved his interactions with Six, and the janitor was super. Like, the janitor was. His lines made you seem like he was a psycho.
Yeah, but that janitor, it's a weird role. Like, it was just like so
very weird.
It's so out of the realm of what the movie is. Like, he was the comic relief, like the janitor.
Oh,
and
he was great.
Yeah, I mean, he was fun, but it was just like a weird role because you do have these serious moments with these kids. Like the kids really played, like the Michelle Pfeiffer movie, like they really
Dangerous
played,
Minds.
yeah, like they really played the role like as these gang bangers that like are really like really mean, tough guys and everything else. And then you have this comic relief guy that lives in the walls. It's just so weird. It's like what?
The fact they incorporated like the Vietnam, like not just like, hey, I was in Nam. He was like a tunnel guy, and it was just.
But he's
insane.
a collector. Okay, we're not even. I got
the
a lot more to say.
So. Oh, dude, that's amazing.
I get the fact that
the writer. Again,
Williams,
it's not like great writing that you're going to be like,
not.
Oh my god, but it's like it hits all. It's somebody that wrote this movie. Loves these movies or have written other movies that are like boom, boom, boom. This is the formula. Like, I'm not going to reinvent the wheel. I'm going to add these silly things. But why I was mentioning that, the naming of the characters, like, why is his name fine? You want to name him Carl? That's fine. Why are you going to name her Kara? Like, or Kara. The same friggin' name. Like, weird. Like, there's like weird things like that.
I know,
but yeah,
is that weird, or is it weird that when he goes to the funeral, he meets the other teacher, for 2 minutes, and he's already dating her the next day? He's at her house for dinner.
I think she's more forward because she's like, I'll see you at 1900 hours.
But their conversation was 3 minutes long at a funeral, and somehow he's over for dinner already. Like,
well,
how fast?
Yeah.
I mean, that was pretty bizarre how fast that moved. He barely knew. Like, I didn't even know if he knew her name, and he's already over there for dinner. So,
and he was already using her because he was like, "How can I become a teacher there?" Like, he tried to find out everything. But the weird thing was I don't think it was even the first date. I think it was the second date. Like when they were actually like a date, and she goes, "Well, me and your brother were involved." I feel like it wasn't the first one. I feel like because if it was the first one, it would be like okay because they just met. I feel like it was the second one because she was. Because I feel that's when he said, "You know a lot about my brother." I
don't think so. I think it was the first one because, like I said, when I was watching it, I'm like, he's coming over for dinner, and they just met at the funeral. Like how? Like it was that was a little weird. I mean, don't forget. I mean, I don't know who said it. Was it him or maybe the boyfriend said to the girl who just lost her father, let's get pizza or something like that, or it was a comment like she's all upset, and it was just like a stupid comment, and she was upset for a very short time because like once she started talking to everybody, it was like all right, my father's like she didn't even mention like I don't know, like she didn't seem that upset. I mean, she seemed
the lines to her, definitely like, hey, we should get pizza, or do you want to get pizza? And then the other line was at school.
Yes,
the friend goes, "Hey, do you know who's going to be taking over your dad's class?"
Yes. Yeah, it was okay. So, what was the time frame? Was it the next day? Like,
I don't know why she's in school. It would have to be weeks.
Well, but you know what though? I'm thinking it might have been like 2 days because
it was 2 or 3 days because that's what he wanted to teach him. He said, "Who's going to take it over?"
He needed to get the substitute license, and she said it takes 2 days, and I have to get you in the system. So I think it was probably 2 days because because it's that easy to get a sub license. Okay.
Good old Uncle Carl. So he finds out he teaches in a special wing, like it's all locked up. They call it Siberia, and Anya's like filling him in. You know, it was really weird, and I don't know why they didn't do it. I don't know if it was like the version I watched on Tubi, but when he was talking to Anya, there was airplanes that were so loud that you couldn't hear it. And I'm like, what? You have the technology of ADR. So like, I couldn't even hear I had to go back and subtitle
Are you sure they had a technology for ADR? I mean, I can't imagine the budget being that big for this movie.
I don't know what it was, but I don't know what it was.
Well, they were probably at near a private airport, and like I said, I felt like the camera, the video look of this looked very Hallmarky. Like it had
now that you say that, I think that was the look that those straight to DVD movie, like straight to VHS movies did in the 90s to separate themselves from. Is remember watching a movie? It was almost like not grainy, but there was like this look to watching a movie.
What it looks like is honestly, it has a soap opera look to it. Like, you know,
Yeah,
the soap
yeah.
opera looks live, but it's not live, you know, so it has that look to it. That's what this movie looked like. It had that, like, it like looked like it was live, but then it was like a little, you know, like, so it doesn't look like, but it was just like that kind of look to it. And it was just like, that showed me right. I mean, I obviously knew it was a B movie, but that just made it more like a D movie.
Oh man. So how about like Anya's so pissed off that her Uncle Carl's alive and that her dad is dead. And
she said it to him, right?
Yes.
And the kick she does is like, I know I learned karate, and then she gives him a karate
Yeah,
kick.
because of you, I had to learn karate, which I don't know what that meant. I guess because maybe the fear of what her dad used to do and what her uncle does, like,
or the fear
like
that she's going to school like in the most dangerous
that is true
town in America. Like, I mean,
what
that's
section in New York is that supposed to be? Like, I wonder what that is. Like, is that a part of the Bronx or Harlem, or
based on how those kids basically just drive around, because you never see a cop anywhere.
Oh, that's true. They're driving way too
everywhere.
easy for New York.
Way too easy. They're constantly with the hood on. Like, they're constantly, and like, there's a scene coming up pretty soon where they're in the car. 2 seconds later, they reverse and they have the hoods up already. Like, they're, and so
I know, that's so funny.
They're clearly the cops. Wait. Which, by the way, why you bother putting the hoods up if he just saw you? I mean, like, you know, like
that was so dumb. I know
that made no sense.
Yeah,
it's always like they had, like, it's like their super like their alter ego. Like, once they put the hoods up, now they're hood.
Yeah. So this movie filmed in Astoria at a studio there. The automotive high school was in Brooklyn, so like that scene, and then the rest, I'm guessing, L.A. was probably pickups. But Long Island City is maybe where they did the exteriors. Wow, man.
But like, think about it. I don't think there was one cop in the movie. Was there? Like, no. I mean, so yeah, like, they had free
There
reign.
was those terrible security guards that worked on the top floor that somehow let, like, oh wait, we have a stairwell.
Okay.
Why is there two stairwells?
The teachers, I mean, I guess beggars can't be choosers for that school, but the teachers are all awful, except for B.D. Wong. Like, you know, like, all the teachers, and not for nothing, B.D. Wong plays the same role in every movie. Like, he plays that guy that, no, he's awesome. Don't get me wrong. I mean, like, and I've been trying to get him for the longest time. Like, I would, you know, but he does play like the same role. Like, he starts off as the nice guy, and then he makes that turn, like, because he's so good at it. Like, you know,
No, you guys should have liked him in all of his roles, and then
Yep.
So then her line that I really do like, that Anya says to Uncle Carl, she goes, "Sir, are you here to help, or are you on your way?" And then he says, "I'm here to find out who killed your dad." And it's like, all right, this is it's gonna be something. But again, she didn't have a father figure for too long, because this movie doesn't take that long, right? From beginning to end, it's maybe like a week of time, like, in school. Yeah. I feel like it's like the third day. It's the second day when they want to murder him. And then I feel like the movie is over within a day or two after that scene.
Well, you know, it's funny. It took 40 minutes to, I think, because I wrote it down somewhere, for him to, trying to think where I wrote it down, that he's finally in the classroom again. Like, because it's called The Substitute too. And for 40 minutes, he was in the classroom for 5 minutes. The rest of the movie, he's spying on these things, he's going, like, he's doing everything else but being a substitute. You know, so I thought we were having
lessons. You wanted like half the movie to be his art of the yo-yo.
Well, I got news to you.
Different thing.
I love his lessons. You know, I mean, tell me there's a better lesson than a yo-yo lesson. I mean, that was great. So give me more of that. But yeah, I was just saying, you know, we just, what movie was it that literally it had the title, but
The Trial of the Incredible Hulk.
Okay, yeah, right.
There's no trial.
There's no trial. Right. So I'm like, almost like, you're gonna tell me this whole movie, he's the substitute. It's called The Substitute 2, and he's barely in the classroom, but he does go back in the classroom a few times. So
he does. Yeah.
Okay.
Want to shop Walmart Black Friday deals first? Walmart Plus members get early access to our hottest deals. Join now and get 50% off a 1-year annual membership. Shop Black Friday deals first with Walmart Plus. See terms at walmartplus.com.
But yeah, so now to talk about the scene you mentioned. So there's a girl getting harassed. He goes over, gets the guys to leave, and then they're like doing like this. He's doing like a walk and talk, and they're like, don't look at me. If you look at me, I'm gonna shoot you. I'm gonna beat your ass. And he like looks and he goes, "Are you threatening me?" He has like this really cool like delivery, and he's doing like the kill him with kindness.
He's a very laid back character. Like, he's a badass.
Way too laid back for a Green Beret.
Correct. Yeah, I can't imagine any Green Beret is going to be that laid back. And he literally is like, the whole movie, he's laid back, even though, like, even think about the bathroom scene later on. He comes back and he's all like, so he's like, he's always laid back. So, but which is also the scary type, right? Because that's the guy that you want to mess with and you realize that you really can't.
Mm-hmm.
So
even in that scene, like you said, he's looking at them. They pull up, and I don't know where he looks because they're still within his vision. Like he's looking ahead, and the fact that, like you said, they did the cut, and you see them put the hoods on. It's not like he was like, "Oh, who are these fellas?"
Right.
And all he does is quickly dodge a bullet.
Oh no! He doesn't dodge. He does a forward roll.
Oh, he does a forward roll behind the car.
It was literally a forward roll. No, it was like they were shooting at him, and he's like his way of getting away was doing like.
That's right. He did the forward roll behind their own car.
Yeah.
And then popped down and snapped the guy's arm.
Yes. So, but like, do you think? First of all, a forward roll in the street has got to hurt, and this is like this is a hard.
Painful.
Like, what do you like more like dive out of the way? Like, I would think most people would just dive out of the way. Like you would, like if someone shooting at you, a forward roll. Like I was just like so like this is show that he's skilled. Like they had to do a forward roll.
You do a forward. Just think about if you do a forward roll. Like at one point, when you're in the middle of that roll, you're like a big target. You're like a big circle. Obviously, there's a hole in it where it can go through. But if you dive like this, there's like
but he was rolling towards them, so there was no hole. Like if he was going to do the forward roll, he should have went sideways because then there is a hole.
Even worse. So even worse. He made a target for that.
Like, are you and are you really dodging if you're rolling towards them? Because that's what he did. Like again, like most people would have dove to the side, right? They're shooting at you. Every movie they're diving. Commando does it behind the bushes. Like he's forward rolling. That was his dodge.
He could have just turned sideways.
100%.
He would have been more
or drop to the ground.
But he snaps the guy's arm. They go off, and then I do love when he meets with Six, and I do love when sequels that are kind of in name only. That's kind of what this is, but they show Tom Berenger. So in that's pretty cool that they have that connection from the first movie. And I thought Six was a cool character too. Like
he was I was trying to find him. Was he like he kind of looks familiar? I
don't know.
He looks like he played that role in so many movies. Like he had that Italian accent. He act like no, he was a cool character. I almost feel like he's got the same amount of screen time as what's his face? Like he had a lot of screen time.
No, he's in a lot of the movie. Yeah.
And I almost feel like he's more of a, first of all, he looks a lot younger than Treat. So like, how can they be in his, like, I was questioning, like they were in the same squad. Like they definitely seemed like a different.
Yeah.
So
so I'm trying to find his name. His name is Joey Six. His name is Angel David. This is interesting. Let's see. Oh,
his last name was David.
Yeah, Angel David.
With that accent,
not as much as you think. Yeah, not as much as you think. Like The Crow.
What did he play? Like Thug number 4?
Yeah, he was Stockboy and Baby Boom. But like not a lot of shocking because he's
he was good. When did did he stop making movies at a certain point?
Oh no, he's working until 2014.
Oh, okay.
He was in Salt.
Any sequels that we could try to get him?
You don't. No, that's it. This is it.
I probably did try to get him already when I tried to get this movie. So
yeah. But the girl's still acting. I remember her from other stuff. Michael Michelle.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of what I saw her in, but she's solid.
Yeah.
Oh, she was on the Dynasty remake. She was on most of that series. But yeah, so no, you get like, again, you get this guy that's in this movie, like we just looked it up, not anything else, but he was like made for this type of role.
Yeah.
And and they did
well, I like when you have like a hero in a movie that needs that sidekick. Right, that they're not doing everything their own, because it kind of like it kind of takes away of the hero being invincible, because there's a lot of things that happen in this movie that he needed the sidekick, right? Otherwise, it just becomes like he's an untouchable guy. So I like when movies have a sidekick that helps him out, like his partner,
Me too.
Like a partner.
Yeah. No, that's a good element. So then, like we talked about before, he got his paperwork. Kara helped out, so. He's at the school already, super quick, and he meets BD Wong, and he's trying to find out where like the registry is, and you get like BD Wong.
Is this before or after he got went to security? He went to security already first, right?
Yes, he did. That was a good move, right?
Good, because they scanned him for weapons, right?
Yeah.
So tell me how the janitor got all those machine guns and everything in the basement.
Through the walls.
Okay,
he went to a wall.
There were no walls outside
there, and just like.
I mean, he has an arsenal in that basement.
It's insane.
That he got past security. And
it's like mini shrine to himself in the military.
But literally, he has machine guns. He had to walk into that school with machine guns. You're going to tell me he did all this after hours? I mean, and my guess is a school like this probably has security cameras. You would think,
or they get broken every day,
or that. Okay.
People trash every day. Okay, we're not doing it again. They leave up. Yeah. But yeah, the way you got that through is pretty good. But I think you could have got through a yo-yo anyway. It just made us as the viewer.
No, I know.
Ooh, what's he sneaking in?
Yeah.
So no, it was pretty cool. But BD Wong. Yeah. Starts, singing, I'm the auto shop, driver's ed, and soccer coach. And then I'm like, God. And then he talks about, I think he was the second person to mention the Siberia. The bad kids. Tomlinson, he dealt with all the bad kids. And when you saw that area, I'm just like, how is that a real thing?
It was a prison. Like you had to go through a prison door to get, you had to go to, and it was only that floor. Like the other like parts of the school were fine. It was like, all right, let's go up. First of all, my question is, why are these kids even in the classroom? Like these kids clearly, they all talk about how they don't have a home, like parents at home. Mom's in jail. One, they don't know their father or anything else. Yet they're always in school in their class.
They're dedicated.
They no one shows up late. They're all already in the classroom. So it's just like, and each time they're still there. Like I was just questioning the whole time, why they even bother going to school? Who's checking on them?
Yeah. And why even bother? I was thinking about when he's teaching them, which we'll go through the scene, but when the bell rings and the people leave, I go, why is there more than one?
Yeah.
I know we saw history like on his door. But I was just like, wait, there's other bad kids? Like what about those classes? Like, what are those kids doing? Like, because this class is full of like gang guys that tried to kill him the day before. Is the other class like, is that worse? Is that like AP criminals or?
And how do you get that job? Like, there's other classrooms downstairs, but this is the one that has a metal prison gate to go through the floor. That's where we're sending you. Like, the minute you apply to a job there and you realize that's the floor you're working on, you're going to tell me you can't find
out for the job interview anywhere. If there's a metal detector, I'd be like, no.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think so.
Oh my God. And then the janitor, we meet the janitor. At this point, you don't think the janitor is going to be anybody, right?
Yeah.
Like he does get a line. So you're like, oh, maybe he was knew the director, knew someone, people liked him on set. He has hey, you better watch your ass up in there. And then I'm like, wow, this guy's good. And then I would not have pictured that
You
he
know
was
what?
in so much of the
I
rest of the movie.
forgot that he was even in the movie before that. Like I thought
Yeah.
when we saw him in the bathroom was the first time we saw him. So like that's how I wasn't even. I knew someone said that to him. I just forgot it was a janitor. So like yeah, I mean, and I think they purposely did that, right? You know, it was just a one liner. You know, everybody's gonna forget who said it. It's a and then move on. You know just I keep thinking about his entrance. You know, he's just so ridiculous.
He's in the. I think he's in the sequel Hall of Fame. I think he's like a first ballot Hall of Fame. His entrance, yeah, which we'll get to, is like
the timing. It's just so.
It was just.
He reminded me of like you remember Real Genius? Was it Real Genius?
Yeah,
you seen Real? The guy that lives in the wall. Wasn't the guy that lives in a wall Lazo or Laszlo?
Was
he lives in a
closet?
He lives in a closet. He lives in.
Yeah,
I gotta see that movie again. Such a good movie. All right,
but yeah, so we get the classroom scene, like you talked about how much you love the dialogue, and we just get like when he starts doing the lesson on the yo-yo, and the way he just how dangerous it is that he swings that and like shatters glass.
But before he gets, first of all, was that kid drinking a 40 in the classroom?
No, it was just a giant glass bottle of orange soda.
Does it look like a 40? I thought it was a 40.
No, yeah.
So when he was just doing all the tricks on the first, you know, with the yo-yo, I'm like again, I didn't know what direction he was going to go in. Like I
thought he was going to start walking the dog and started going, ooh.
Well, he did walk the dog. I just didn't. I was trying to figure out what he was doing. Like you knew he was going to use it as a weapon. Like he knew that he was going to do it. Like
no,
right,
I had no idea.
Yeah, and the fact that he was almost, it seemed like he was really trying to teach these kids when he first walked in. Like you know, and why were they listening to him? Like there's no way. Like I know when I was in high school and we had a substitute teacher, we didn't listen to them. So I can't imagine. I can't imagine these kids ever listen to any substitute teacher.
No, I don't think they would even have a substitute teacher. Like,
and
I know
they're all sitting at a desk. No, I know, but in fact, again, the fact that they're all sitting down, like they're not all standing up, sitting, like they're sitting in their desks, like ready for class. Like that was the only thing. Like you have these gangsters, and the way they talk, and they can care less about anything he's saying, but they're still sitting in their desk and they're still acting like a student.
They're studious. They know this is like their opportunity. Maybe they put him there, and then you start acting good. Then you get to go one floor down, and then if you act good there, you put him in the. I don't know. But yeah, they were too behaved. All the other movies, it's always chaos.
Oh,
100%. Loud music and a guy drinking a soda. Like that was, that was not that big of a deal.
And you're talking about these kids are legitimately criminals. I mean, they're killers. They just killed someone recently. Yeah. So the fact that they were that well behaved, outside of their mouths, you know, they were smart asses. They really were well behaved because there were no airplanes flying by. No one was throwing paper airplanes. No one was doing spitballs. Like they weren't doing anything like that. It was just music and loud talking. So in reality, they actually were pretty good students.
Yeah. What are the grades were? Like, was there any grades that he?
Wait, you think there were grades?
What do you think? What do you think it was? Like, there had to be a test at one point.
You know, it's funny. I think, and I could be wrong, but I actually think they had notebooks on their desks. I think like I really do. I think they, like I said, because they were all at the desk. I want to say there were notebooks. Now, whether they were open or not, but I think they had like notebooks. Like, so I don't know. I mean, my guess is how can you grade them? Because I can't imagine them doing homework. I mean, how do you have time to do homework when you're out there driving around killing people?
Yeah. I got a drug deal at 11. I got a murder at 12. How am I going to fit it in? Now, was the janitor's name Willy?
I don't know. But
I'm looking at the credits.
That sounds like a janitor name.
He's the only guy age-wise that this could be. He is like a big-time fight coordinator.
Oh, wow.
And stunt artist. He did Freddy vs. Jason, Triple X State of the Union, Art of the War 2. Universal Soldier Day of Reckoning.
Is he still alive?
Yeah.
Okay.
Chuck Jeffries. Well, maybe we can find him. So he was like 30 when this movie came out.
Okay.
He played great because he walked around like he was a hobbled war vet. The way he moved, he wasn't super quick or anything. That's awesome.
Okay.
That's cool. They gave him that role. He was acting before that. He has acting credits in the 80s, but that's cool that he was in the movie.
Right.
But
sure.
So then the teacher's lounge, which probably might be just, I love the idea of it. I even asked my wife, like, is that a thing, sitting down?
I was going to ask you, I'm glad you asked Jamie, because that's in every movie, right? They all sit around smoking and just like, first of all, usually talking crap about the kids or whatever, but is that a thing where they just, and who's in the classrooms? Because it seems like all the teachers are always in the lounge at the same time.
Yeah, I think that's the point that she said, because she watched a little bit with me last night. And she even said, like, this could never happen because you have so many, because you're either like prepping or covering a class or doing lunch.
You don't have time.
No time to fraternize, especially with the guy that everybody knows he's drinking. Is there a cop in there? Is that why he has to cover up? He uses the brown paper baggie?
So I know that, homeless people use the brown bag because they're outside drinking and everything else.
Or people coming home from the city.
I was going to say, do people do that? Like, is that something it's very common still?
Yeah. You never came home from the city? They give you, they give it to you when you buy it at Penn Station. They give you a beer and they put it in a bag for you.
Yeah. I just never drank it out of the bag.
I always leave it in the bag. I think it's like a magic trick that you play with the cops. Maybe the cops are like, hey man, I don't know what's going on there. So if you have like a ginormous brown paper bag, you can commit crimes in New York City. Get one bigger than a car. You could steal a car.
Nice.
Hey, I don't see it, man. Brown paper is like kryptonite to the cops, I guess. I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
It's so silly. I'm like, they know what I'm doing.
Of course.
They know exactly what I'm doing.
What else would you be doing with a bag to your mouth outside of maybe hyperventilating or throwing up? Okay. That's
man, the brown paper bag industry they just turn off the podcast. We do more than that. We're for lunches.
Okay, brown paper bag industry has been done for 20 years. I mean, because they're killing trees. So no, they have been done.
Well, they're back now because plastic bags are banned. So they're back, baby.
No, they're not. When was the last time you saw a paper bag at a supermarket?
Yeah, you can get paper.
No, you can't. You can't get anything.
If you don't bring have to buy the recyclable bags, they have paper ones. People just don't want them.
No, it's the stupid bags that you got to buy from ShopRite for $1. Those are the bags they have. There is no paper bags anywhere.
I'm going to take a picture one. Next time I go, I'll take a picture.
There is absolutely no paper bag. I can't imagine this paper. I think Wallbaum's was the last paper bag place they had.
I don't even know what that place is.
Wait, so you never heard of Wallbaum's?
No, what is that?
Oh, it's definitely dating myself. That was before Acme, A&P. So before Acme was A&P.
That probably wasn't by me in Jersey.
Oh, okay.
But so then the crotchety teacher, I love when he starts like mocking Carl's brother's death, like to him.
Yeah.
And again, because Carl can do it, because his character is so calm, I don't know if I can take that. And he's just like, it ended up.
Yeah, I mean, and it's every movie has that like crappy teacher that acts like that. Like, and again, if he's acting like that here, how do you think he's acting with the kids?
Oh, I know.
So it's yeah.
Put him in the top floor. Put him in Siberia for a day, and he'll probably change the way he's.
Maybe that's why the kids act the way they do because of him.
Maybe, yeah. He thinks they drive them to drink, but. He drives them to commit crimes, to want to go up there. It's like,
so what's worse, to drive someone to drink or to drive someone to kill?
I guess murder. Is worse than
so drink. That's probably So
smeared off ice or shooting someone. I think it's shooting someone. But so then BD Wong comes, saves the day again, second time, building his character perfect for the perfect typical like.
Did you know his did you figure out his arc from at this point?
Yeah, because it's pretty simple. So? Because there's a carjacking in the beginning, and the first time we meet him, he mentions he's an auto shop teacher. So it could have bled in from when I watched it a few years ago. But it was like so spot on. But again, he's saving the day. They don't listen to those guys. He's a terrible teacher. What Tomlinson did. He was great.
Yeah. Bless you.
Me. Thank you. But then, so Kara comes in and she's kind of like hamming it up in front of Randall. But then we find out why after they're like on their date. So she used to date his brother, and she used to date Randall. So she's like,
Oh well, she definitely gets around, but
she gets around.
how can he even think about that, knowing that again, it's like it's kind of weird. Your brother just died. This is his ex-girlfriend, and now you're gonna hook up with her. Like that's kind of like you're there to avenge his death, but you're gonna take his ex-girl.
Yeah.
So I mean,
hey,
like,
bro, I'm gonna find your killer, but I'm gonna have fun too.
And I mean, isn't it kind of weird for someone who's dating a brother or a sister of someone that you already dated? Like, I find that kind of weird, also, right? I mean, like in real life, like it's got to be. Yeah, and I'm sure it happens, but like, although you also hear stories of like someone dating someone's dad after they dated, the son or something like that. So, or the mom.
Now
so
they ever dated sister. Oh yeah, once, not at the same time.
Wait, I was gonna say you dated a sister, same one. Okay, that's a little different.
But two sisters, yeah.
Wait, but, so you did date two sisters?
Sure it happens. Yeah.
Oh my god! So you think that's worse? A sister dating a sister after a brother dates a sister, or dating a father after the son dates?
Oh, I think the father thing, that's really weird. Like if somebody was dating me and then we broke up, and then like say my dad was single when I was in my 20s, and like she's like, I'm dating this new guy, and it's like, oh yeah, why are you here to tell me? It's your dad.
Oh my gosh. Like, that is
it's bizarre to think about. Yeah.
And it happens. It happens
more times than I'm sure. I don't know any off the top of my head, but man. So then right away they're going to. Oh, I guess they confirm their date. She says 1900 hours. Then at the same time, Eduardo is picking up Anya. He has a brand new Mustang.
By the way, he's definitely got a big role in this movie, but he looks like he's stoned throughout the whole movie.
Jamie said that too. Yeah.
Oh, they're like literally like his eyes. Yeah, it's his eyes,
and he's so calm.
But and he's just the way he speaks. Like he literally looks like. I mean, he probably was stoned throughout the movie, but he just had that look that he was stoned the whole time.
It fits the character, right?
No, 100%.
I guess he's supposedly great at soccer. I don't know if he's really good because BD Wong. They have the weirdest conversation at one point when I guess we're kind of figuring out what's going on because he goes, "How'd it go? Oh yeah, that advice you gave me, it worked out great." And you're like, the advice to like shoot Tomlinson because that's not advice. It was a guy that showed up at a thing, and right, it was like so silly to sort of reveal that early in the movie.
No, of course, but also the whole point of the movie is to get revenge on his brother's death, but he really doesn't get revenge on his brother's death.
No. Not at all.
So the person that killed his brother, he doesn't get revenge.
Well, he disappears. We don't see him, man.
Okay, but that was the point of the movie.
I'm saying is, we never see him. Like this story's over. I'm saying he might have just. Did the cops get called? Anya says nothing. She just reveals, "Hey, this is what I just found out." Spoiler. We're talking about the end of the movie a little bit, but it's like it's so weird that happens.
And they just left it.
Yeah, that's it. And then he goes.
She gets attacked by him, almost killed by him, and he's So like that's like it was bizarre because they left that open, and really he should have went after him. Like he's focused on BD Wong, and I understand why later on, but at the same time, the whole purpose was to find out who killed his brother and get revenge on him, and that does not happen. Okay.
Yeah, always he finds out. For one part, the second part, the important part of the revenge never happened.
Okay. So there's two themes in this movie that fail miserably. The one, the revenge factor, like I said before, which he doesn't get. And two, trying to get these kids, back on track of life and and he fails in that one also. So both themes in the movie don't work out.
But he gets laid.
Okay. So then that makes up for it.
And he kills a bunch of guys. Like even this scene is like so amazing, dude. Again, like you said, like the way this guy's 6. He should have been in more stuff. Like even just the scene, the way he walks up because they're assaulting like the the guy that called the cops. So like
assaulting, they were like, he looked blood. His face was mangled, like, you know. But yeah, his banter was great. Like, it was like it. Again, he easily could be in a mafia movie. Like, just the way he talks. Like, he could have been like the guy, you know, like, and it was, but that contraption, is that a real contraption they had with the lights? Like, it's
I don't know, but that was really cool. Just the way it was mirroring off each other, and it was just making it seem like there were so many other sites. Again, those other guys could have moved a little bit. I know. There's no way that it would all been on him.
But I want to know, because they obviously let them go at that point, but how long did they wait until they realized that it's not real? Like, I want to see, like, like the next day or something, like guys, can someone take a chance, someone step out and see if because the lights were left on them.
Oh, I know. Yeah. No, I'm sure maybe the battery died, but even at that point, they probably should not have thought that there's like 20 guys there. But I do love that he does shoot one of the guys. But one of the best smack talks he says is because he overhears the guys talking when he steps out of the shadows, 6, and he goes, "Oh, little B, what's that stand for? Little balls?" Yeah. And he had like just the way it was that,
and what was also cool is what he did, where he says, "Cut him down," and the guy was sending someone else to do it. He goes, "No, I want you to do it."
Yeah.
So like
cool.
he went straight to the head guy. Like, he wasn't like scared or anything. He went right. Yeah, absolutely. This guy should have been in more movies. He played that role really well.
He would have been perfect on Sopranos, like in that type of role. He was good, man.
Absolutely.
So now we get to, I don't know if I like stepped out of the room or something, but when, again, there's like another like weird makeout scene again. They keep cutting to Anya and Eduardo like making out, and he's trying to like sleep with her and never happens.
He got lucky,
but it always ends with her like blurting information out. She goes, "Yeah, there's somebody out here looking for the murderer." And it's like, that doesn't really tell. I know like Carl is like new to the school, like Treat, but like, I don't know if that'd be like, oh, okay, he's got to be that guy looking into it. It was so silly that within a day they knew.
But he also didn't seem like he didn't make any kind of emotion when she said that, right? Because you're the guilty party of what happened. You would think there'd be some kind of reaction, like, because he didn't know this is what was happening. He didn't know about her uncle. He didn't know that they're searching. So the fact that she's talking to him about it, and he just like brushed it off, like it was like, okay, like he's the one that they're looking for, like like why was there no reaction to what she's saying? Because like he should be nervous at that point. Like he should like. No, and that's why I think he's also high, that he just went right over his head.
Yeah, he's like, "Whoa, man! I can't believe she knows it's me."
Yeah, right.
She's telling me this too. But the part that I might have missed was them like putting the bug on the car and setting up the car to find out where they're doing the chop shop. Like, I don't remember. All I remember is them saying it, but I don't know if we knew that was happening. Like when Siggs was looking and they came and heisted the car, like the kids from the class. And then that's the car that led them to know where the warehouse was. But when they said like, "Oh, they took our bait car," and I'm like, "Oh, was I supposed to know that already?" And there's like 5 minutes after that, he's on the phone with, "Oh, that's when he ruins the date." So at the same time, he's like, she's in lingerie with her head on his lap. They're eating and drinking wine. He gets a phone call and he has to leave.
Well, this happens a few times because later on also she's in, I think, lingerie again, and she calls him and he goes, "Yeah, we'll be right over." And then she goes, "Who's we?" This is before BD Wong gets there. Right. She was in lingerie again, like waiting for him to come over, and he said, and she goes, "Who's we?" And then she.
Oh, yeah. You're right. Yeah. She was waiting for it.
So there's twice now she's trying to get, and he always puts a kibosh on it every time. Like he's just, yeah.
Maybe he's weird about the brother thing.
She looked like Vanessa. She looked like Vanessa Williams.
Oh yeah, she's stunning. She's in so much. She was good in this movie, and it was like it's always in that vigilante role. Like the guy, the girl that always dates the vigilante never makes it, no matter what.
And you know what? That scene was pretty. I mean, like BD Wong kicked the crap out of her.
Oh,
that was brutal. That was brutal. So yeah.
Yeah. All right. So then he makes him. So I love when Six calls him to get there, and they just look at where they're bringing the cars. That's it. Just look, right? Just, all right, we'll come back another day. We'll say it. And I love when he goes, tomorrow's going to be a big day. He goes, why is tomorrow going to be that big day? Beep. He plays the recording because he's recording him at this point. Somehow they tapped it, or he's using an old antenna.
But see, they showed you the tapping before, but they didn't say who. They didn't show who was tapping. So I thought the bad guys were tapping, like, because they didn't until Six showed it later on. You didn't know who it was. All you saw was a hand and them listening in.
Yeah, but how great was that? It's like, don't make sure when you kill him, nobody else sees. Make sure we do it tomorrow. And what does Treat say? Sounds interesting. So great.
Oh man.
And here's your scene, dude. So he's teaching this the next day. So you're thinking like these guys are gonna do it themselves. No, the one guy has to go. He has to go to the bathroom. So he goes out of the classroom and he opens up a door, which for some reason there's no security guard there. And you have like four grown men come up the stairs?
I mean, it definitely, well, I mean, it could have been. I mean, because they're part of the gang. I mean, so they came up. But yeah, I mean, like, where was the security guard?
That's what I mean. Nobody's posted up at a door.
No, I'm saying
should be one way in and one way out.
When he came in, he had to get scanned with the wand. When Treat Williams started, that security guard hasn't been seen the rest of the movie.
I know.
So every entrance, every time someone comes in, like obviously the whole end of the movie, everything, that security guard worked one day and he hasn't showed up since.
Yeah, you know what? There was the guy that was checking at the door, and then when they first went into the upstairs, there was one security guard like away, like messing, like talking to extras. That was it. And then for the rest of, you're right. The rest of the movie, we didn't see anyone up there. And I love at the same time is like, I guess, kind of like passing time. But then he throws the kid won't put the boom. Mace wouldn't turn his boombox down. Tree gets pissed, throws it out, and he's like, "Oh, Keyshawn, he's taking too long. I'm gonna go check on him and make sure he's all right." And dude, like,
first of all, it was kind of funny because he's knocking and asking as if you really would ask someone if they're okay in the bathroom. Because he doesn't go in first. He's like, Keyshawn, are you okay in there? Like someone has a stomach ache and they're sitting there for a long time. Like, do you think he was just playing at that point? Like he knew he's being set up, or you think
he's doing his calm thing, like you.
So why even act that out? Like, why not just come right in? Like I mean, and again, this scene, like every other movie, everyone attacks one at a time.
I know. Open the doors all at the same time and run at him.
But they don't. It's like it was almost like a game. Like, all right, here comes one. Here's the next one. Like, why not? There's no way. I don't care how badass you are. If you got 6 guys that I'm assuming have weapons on them, you're going to do some damage. There was no damage done at all to him at all. No. There's no damage at all. That his jacket does not have a rip in it that he wore fighting all these guys.
You had the last guy after he made quick work of like the 2 or 3. And then the one guy comes and like chokes him for a little bit. You're like, oh, this could be something. He takes care of him. But dude, when he's looking in the mirror, which I gotta find the clip.
That's definitely that's the clip you have to absolutely.
But the fact that he is looking and fixing himself in the mirror, and you see that
in the court, you see it behind. You see it behind him. Like it's so like
the reflection of him crawling through the.
And you're not no one's paying attention to that at that point. So the fact when you do see it, it's such a weird entrance, and it's comical. That he comes. First of all, do bathrooms have those kind of like ability to crawl through and get to every, like, does he have like that?
Not, because that was a giant. It wasn't like he opened his vent and like crawled through like Die Hard.
It was big enough that because he's a big guy, right? He's a big guy, right?
It was a hidden thing, like in Clue.
And I can't imagine him like having to shimmy the whole way each time. No. And all right, hold on a second. So that bathroom is on like the 3rd floor. So you're telling me he's shimmying up from the basement? How is that possible? That he's shimmying, because he has to go up 2 levels. This is like on the top floor. So how is he doing that?
Wait, to even make your question even harder, how does he get the 4 bodies to the street?
He goes, I'll clean it up.
Yeah. Really?
Well,
Really?
I'll tell you how. Because he's on the 3rd floor, so there's a slant. So he throws them in there, and he slides them all down like a garbage chute.
Or do you think he surfs down them? He lays them on top of each other. And woo!
It just ridiculous. Because again, if he has it to the bathroom, he must have access to every classroom. So like, he's like an ant. He's like an ant in a tunnel that he can just go wherever he wants. Like he has all these secret passages, which does the school ever check, like, where's the janitor? Like, because it seems like he just uses those really just to go where he needs to go and then goes right back in the basement.
He's just in the walls. Willie, where are you? And he's like knocking.
Okay. And I mean, we see his basement later on. That is not a normal basement. There's like rock piles down there and whatever. Like what was that? Like his basement is so bizarre. I mean,
it was a lair. It was like a villain lair.
It was a janitor lair. It was a janitor lair.
I'm telling you, every one of his lines, I feel like they told him to say the line like it's a one-liner, which it was great. But when he says, I'll clean up this mess, Treat says, you sure? And he goes, well, I am the janitor. And then they like exchange like this look. And then Treat looks back in the mirror and he goes, you have any spot rumor? Because there's blood on his shirt. And he goes, what brand? Ha ha ha. And he has like this laugh that he does after every joke in the rest of the movie. It's so good.
Absolutely. You know what? You got to, first of all, without a doubt, you got to find that clip because his entrance is just amazing. Yeah. But yeah, you know, I think I'm glad they added him to this because, you know, there was a little humor here and there, but this guy brought, again, to me, it's definitely a bright spot because it's so corny and so over the top. It's such an over the top role. That makes it good.
And then he just says like, oh, make sure you meet me in the basement. He goes, I'll like take care of this. Meet me in the basement. So do you think
when he meets him, do you think he goes to the bathroom and goes through the tunnels? Or do you think he goes the normal way?
True, we get lost, I think, unless there's directions on the walls. How would you know?
Well, he probably has signs on each like turn, signage, like gym this way, cafeteria this way, science lab this way, and so this way he knows where to go.
He doesn't know the school so well because at one point when they have to look in the auto shop, he's like, "Come on, this way!" And he like quickly lifts him up, and he's looking into the thing. It was like so. I'm like, is that how that works? Like,
yeah, it's not for nothing. I feel like he does everything but janitor work when he's there. Like he's around every all right.
Yeah, he's and him and Six have a good relationship. They have like good
they're like buddies at the end of the movie. They walk back into
But no, his shrine to the war, like with his photo, and then even has like a grenade. Like he has a grenade.
Again, he has an arsenal down there. He had multiple machine guns and rifles. How did he get it down there? Again, you have to get through the security, which Treat Williams did, and he's a substitute teacher. But yeah, unless he somehow sneaks into the bathroom and throws everything
just
down
like,
to the tunnels.
It's just old crazy Willie. Hey, you mind if I use the door without any security? Oh, Willie, just do it. And then he can he brought each body out, garbage, dumped it, and then call the cops.
Yeah.
What kind of call is that when the cops get there? Like, hey, we got a call from the janitor, and they just said there's 4 bodies. Like, what are they doing? Like,
well, there are no cops, so I don't even know who he called. So it doesn't make a difference. And you know what? Again, why did Treat Williams get scanned when these kids have knives in the classroom? How'd they get the knives?
Oh, I know. It's the butterfly knife in that scene.
Yeah. So again, who is the security guard scanning outside of a substitute teacher? Like, we got to make sure that he's not dangerous. Yet everybody else in the building,
the security guard's on the take. He's on the take. He's getting money from Little B.
Everybody in the school has a weapon except for the substitute teacher.
No.
Okay. All right.
Oh man. So then now, so this Anya gets scared. She's about. She almost gets hit by
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
One more thing. So, and I forgot. I wrote this down. So in the fight in the bathroom, and again, I don't know why they did this, but one of the last guys that he fought, he threw into the stall.
Mm-hmm.
It flushed. It literally like, and again, it's not like he gave him like a swirly. He literally like he punched him and he threw him in the stall, and you heard whoosh. Like, and I was like, why did the toilet go off? Like, did he throw him so hard that he hit the little lever and he went to like, like, it was just very funny. Like, it was such a comic scene that they heard the flush, and that's when he like wiped his hands and went to the, yeah.
That's amazing. threw him so hard it flushed.
I mean, it would have been better if he stuck his face in the toilet bowl, and then does the, typical swirly thing. But yeah, okay. I just wanted to say that.
Yeah, no, that's good. So then the gang pulls over and scares Anya when she like crosses the street. Say, I know you're related to the new teacher. You say anything, we're going to kill you, blah, blah, blah. So then when Carl gets home, she tells him, she's like crying on the stairs. And he says, you're going to stay home for a few days. And the first thing I thought was, they can't murder her at home? Like, you can only murder her in the street? Is that silly? No, like, it's not like he said, like, hey, I just called one of my buddies at Special Forces. He's going to stay here with you. No.
Well, that's what I was going to say. He didn't leave. He didn't leave anyone there to protect her. He's assuming
he didn't leave. He left. I know he didn't leave anybody there, but he left 5 minutes after the speech.
Correct. Right. You would think like, all right, why don't we put things on hold right now? There's a lot of craziness going on. Let me protect her. No, he leaves literally right after, assuming then again, this is a teenage girl who's got a boyfriend. You're assuming she's going to listen and stay, which she does, I think, for one day. And then the second day, she just like, I can't take it anymore.
Yeah, no, that's all it was. But how about even when she was telling him like the shopping list? That was in one ear at the number. We didn't get a scene with him at the store, or him saying like, "Hey, to Kara, oh, can you pick up these things for him?" Nothing. She was probably starving.
He was not paying attention to her one bit, so he just didn't listen to anything she just said there. So yeah. So
oh my god! And so I kind of like spoiled this a little bit earlier. Not spoil it, but so the janitor is basically like, you can come back down here, like, but you gotta bring me a memento, like collecting things. So he brings like this vial, and he like says like it's some kind of like gas, right?
Right.
Some mustard gas from,
and he's all excited about it.
Yeah, super excited. And then Six is like, "Sir, I don't think you should be giving that away." Well, and he goes, "It's just a vial of hand soap." I'm like, oh my god, you're telling me this crazy guy is thinking, what if they were all fake weapons? And he thought people were giving him like real guns, real grenades, and it was like just like.
So, and when they use it at the end of the movie, you see the little bang come out at the sign, the bang sign. Yeah. Well, and he was very serious about that, because when he first brings him down there, he stops them. He goes, "Remember our deal?" Like, he wasn't gonna let them go forward if he didn't bring some kind of memento. Yeah. So like he in order to bring him downstairs, he had to bring him something, like some kind of gift. He was like a little troll, like at the bridge that you got to pay before you go a little further. Yeah. You, gotta pay you know what? Think about it. He really is a troll, because he goes through these tunnels. He lives in a basement, which is not like a basement, because like I said, there's a massive rock pile that they have to walk down to get to where his table is, which it was just a weird looking like basement. Like, yeah.
Okay. So then it's all at the same time. This is like, we talked about it a little bit before, but like Mace and Carl have like this really short heart to heart, which I bet you the scene was longer. It was like really like abbreviated. It was after he came out, after he beat the guys in the bathroom and the class ended. And so then the next scene, you have the kicker from Damien, the guy who was kicker on the water boy. He's on the phone because this is where Mace died.
Yes. Yep.
He's on the phone.
Literally right after.
Already at this point. So yeah, we're already like in the final part of the movie. But when we find out he died, it was like kind of like emotional. Like the day at school, that was like really, you said the dialogue. I would say that is the best acted scene in the
Mm-hmm.
movie, because Damien's speech, like he messed up and now he's gone forever.
No,
like,
it was, again, like, and I give the credit to all the students, because I think they all really did. I think they acted like the fact that they're not going to have an option but to live this kind of life, and that's why they do what they do. And like they really came across like kids that would actually be living a life like that, right? And even the speech with Mace when he's saying, what am I going to do? You think my father's not, I don't know my father, my mother's in jail and all that. Like he really did, like, I absolutely thought that was a great acting right there. And then again, 2 minutes later that, he's done. Like the only emotional part of the movie really. And then, it doesn't even last more than 5 minutes.
Mason's a solid actor. He was in a bunch of stuff in the 90s.
I think all those guys were. If you look up like a few of those guys, they all have done good roles. Like I said, the one guy was on Walking Dead for a while. I knew I recognized him, and one of the main like gang leaders. And he was on Walking Dead for a couple of years. He did die by one of the zombies though.
Oh, really? So like this guy, Eugene Bird, I only remember his name from looking him up, but I remember from when I was a kid, but he was in, he's friends with Heidi Lewandowski, who's like one of our first interviews ever.
Yeah.
So I remember they collabed on something and I was like, oh, I know this guy from something. I looked at his IMDb. I'm like, holy shit, dude. He's in a ton of stuff, man.
Tell you, all those guys. Yeah.
Anaconda's 3. He's in Anaconda's 3.
Nice.
That'd be good, but so we already know BD Wong's bad because from this scene, so we pretty have everything going on, and then even in the classroom after that, like we just talked about, like when he's telling Dante, like nobody's sad, nobody's emotional, like say something, and they're like yelling. The bell rings. Cut to Carl and Cara making out. Like, whoa,
yeah.
Like,
well, first of all, I mean the fact that listen, these kids live this life. You can't be shocked when someone dies in your gang. I mean, like that, like always, like it's like it that always amazes me when you see this in the movies, and I'm sure it happens in real life too. But if that's the life you're gonna live, when you're constantly either in a violent situation or you're constantly on the run, can't be shocked if someone doesn't make it. So so like the fact that really they should almost brush it off like, oh yeah, we lost another one. Because it's it's eventually going to catch up to you, right? So that's the life you want to live. But this whole makeup scene. I mean, listen, you got lucky. You had a nice little role.
But they cut to make out, and then again, hard cut back. Now they're in the classroom. I've been doing the teacher's line the next day. I just don't understand why they're talking so loud. I know like BD Wong's not dumb. Yeah. So you can see they're talking more.
Yep.
They're talking more than somebody that would talk to somebody like 3 days in. Like they only know each other for like really 3 days, in the public's view. Well, and actually in real, it's not like they're hiding anything. They don't know each other maybe a day longer than they're showing like in school. But
and they do things secretly, kind of in front of everybody. So it's not that secret. So obviously
he says really loud. He goes, "Can you get me information on Randall?"
Yeah.
I'm like, "Oh,
yeah." It's just so
he
ridiculous.
Heard it because he made a look when they walked out.
And why would a teacher that's been there for 3 days need some information on Randall?
Yeah, weird.
Exactly.
But man, this is a rough scene. Like when Carl and says, "Hey, we're coming over," like you said.
Yep.
And she's in lingerie. Knock on the door. And
I didn't expect that. I didn't expect that. So
I didn't either.
And like the fact that first of all, it's a super nice apartment for a teacher.
I was going to say that a teacher, she's like she's like a counselor. Not saying counselors make a lot less, but I'm like,
the way you said that, she's only a counselor.
And I mean, sorry, counselors.
Yeah, don't slam the counselors. But I mean, for like, so like, there's no way on that. Okay. And you're in New York City. So you're in New York City. You have this nice apartment, that has 2 floors, which is rare probably in New York City to begin with. And man, she's living comfortable there. So
what I thought about? Like, it's funny whenever I think New York, like when I worked in the city and we did like some shoots at like studios that were kind of like old, like converted apartments and stuff. If I saw like even a movie, if I see a spiral staircase or like I'm like, oh man, they have money. And her place, it's such a high staircase.
Yeah.
So it's like, wow, you're not even just getting like 2 floors. You're getting like cathedral ceilings that
she had high ceilings all around. Oh yeah, I mean it was a nice apartment, so no way. But yeah, like the way he kind of like let himself in, and again, she's wearing lingerie, with just a little jacket over, so she definitely wasn't ready for this, and like he's just like creeping around like Jaws, like sniffing around, like he knows something's up. She, she has her, document that she tried to hide. It looked like she tried to hide it right in front of him. The one.
Oh,
document.
I know. She had it in his hand waiting for. Because I guess because she thought the knock at the door was going to be
correct.
So she was ready to like, oh, here you go.
And he's already suspicious as it is, so you don't think he realized that she had her hand behind her back. Kind of thing.
Oh my God.
But yeah, I mean, like the way he immediately just starts pounding on her, like out of the blue, like
he does, but the cuts to it was crazy. And at the same time, we get them coming there, Six and Treat, and then you cut to Anya sneaking out to go make out with Eduardo, and then cut back, and then it's right to the punching, and the one throw. Yeah, it was like so.
Well, the punch alone. I mean, the first punch was brutal. I mean, like it's a hard punch, but like he wasn't messing around. Like he was trying to kill her. Like he was throwing, almost like torture, trying to get information. Like so, and which she ended up obviously doing because he was choking her. But man, he was brutal. But he's also very sloppy.
Very sloppy.
Because I mean, if he's trying to hide any tracks that he was there, he literally wiped all his DNA on a stuffed bunny.
I know. It's so stupid.
Why? Like he had blood all over his hands. He takes the bunny and he wipes his hands on the white bunny and then puts it back on a shelf. But again, there's no cops in the town anyway, so it doesn't make a difference.
That is true.
If there was, yeah, okay.
But you know what I thought? I was like hoping that she wasn't dead after she got shot. I thought it was gonna be old, like, oh, she's in a coma, and then we see her at the end of the movie. But when they're having a casual conversation, remember when they almost see him? BD Wong comes down the stairs and he like scurries behind.
Yep.
And they go up to the apartment, and then when we cut to them in the apartment, they're having like a very casual conversation about stuff, and she's dead. Like she's not moving, and I'm like, oh no way.
And again, like he was kind of dating her. There wasn't a lot of remorse.
He Bronsoned her, man. You got really win, man. Thank you, man.
Every movie. Listen, even superheroes, they always lose their. You can't be a hero and have a girlfriend. It's a rule.
You can't date a hero.
You can't.
You can't. Like if you're a girl, my daughter comes home, she is, Dad, I'm gonna date Batman. I'll be like, no, can't do it.
Batman's not a hero. He's lame. So it's
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I mean, come on. Anyway,
I like Batman better than the other guys. Superman can sneeze what other guy? Kill me.
Wait, what other guy? Superman? No way. You're gonna tell me Batman is Batman? Okay. In all reality, if there's like a fight against like one of the most powerful bad guys, what is Batman gonna do?
Superman's the guy I call, but I don't want him dating my daughter.
So why? You'd have super kids, grandkids.
Oh, and then they'll kick my ass. They don't listen to me. Why would they listen to me?
Oh, you're gonna have what? A Batarang? Are you gonna have a flying ninja star or whatever he has, the flying
grappling
whatever? Batman's lame. He's
better.
The actual tough, but he's lame. Let's be honest. I mean, I know we saw the movie Batman vs Superman. There's the movie out there. Superman would rip him in half. I mean, Batman is so stupid. So okay. Anyway, like the fact that he doesn't mourn at all for her. I mean, like, he really doesn't seem that upset. He's like, he's still so focused on getting revenge for his brother that he's not even thinking about what happened for her.
No, not at all. And then at the same time, you cut back to this is like the perfect way that I love movies end like this when there's like three different stories sort of going on. But then we cut to Anya and Eduardo. She doesn't want to hook up. He goes, I want to take a shower.
Okay, wait. But on the desk, so clearly she's been blocking him a few times.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Like, there was a box of condoms that were out, like, and there were about 8 condoms, like, lined up that he was ready. Like, this is a girl that he's been trying that keeps pushing them. He thought he was going to be able to use more than one.
He's lucky maybe because it's his first time. He never used one.
No, it wasn't his first time.
You think
it was his first time? I don't think so.
I don't know.
No. I'm just saying he would be lucky to even use one, let alone the 6 that he had waiting to, use. So, okay.
Well, it's nice that she was going to clean up and put them away. And then she finds the money clip that it was her dad's special forces that we saw earlier in the movie.
Okay.
And then she finds the hoodie with the holes in it.
The minute she found the hoodie, wouldn't you hightail it out of there?
Oh my
Like,
God. She's presented it on the bed. Like she's like doing a court case.
Correct. Like she's like a married couple who just found a spouse cheating. She basically left it there. She barely knows this kid, right? This kid killed her father. So he's obviously a psychopath, and you're going to confront him? Like, you think you hold any power whatsoever over this kid? Like, I mean, first of all, the minute she saw the shield, she should have left, but then she wanted to snoop some more, and then see the hoodie. That should have said, get out of here, tell my uncle who it is, and let him kill him. No, she confronts him. Like, what are you gonna do? Her karate kick, which does help.
And it worked.
But
it worked. She got away.
Which she got mad at, don't forget, treat earlier for learning karate. So
yes. So it saves her life. But there was no closure to that story. It was just her crying at the stairs saying, oh, Danny killed. It was Danny that did this. And then at this point, again, he leaves. Danny's not dead. We don't know that, because why wouldn't Danny maybe be like seeking revenge right now?
Correct.
So they're like, oh, we have to go into the school.
Trying to shut her up for telling the cops.
Exactly.
Nothing.
No, he doesn't care.
How do they leave that story open? I mean, that's again.
I don't know how.
That story is the movie. Like that story is the whole point of the movie. He should have been in
cuffs. At least give us cuffs.
Okay. And like you said, so she's once again crying. She was just in a very serious situation. What did he do? 5 minutes later, he's out the door again.
Yeah.
This is why he doesn't have kids.
And Anya has no friends in this movie. We didn't, obviously, maybe.
Well, she has the two friends in the movie that asked to go, to do something, the day after her father died. The two kids on the steps or something.
That was her boyfriend. What do you mean? That was her boyfriend.
No, but he's not the one that said it. It was the other kid said something.
I know. I'm saying, like, that was her boyfriend's friend. I'm pretty sure that. I'm like, she didn't have any girlfriends. Like, they probably didn't have time. They didn't want to develop like the other character. But yeah, it was just weird that she was always alone. Not like a neighbor. Hey, can you keep an eye on her? Nothing. She was like just sitting in those stairs waiting for him to maybe come back, Because he could die. Always special focus.
Of course. But he always leaves her. He always leaves her at the worst time possible.
Yeah. High and dry.
Like, again, this is why he doesn't have kids. He's a bad parent.
So then they go to the schools because they're right in it now. Like all hell's about to break loose. So when you see how many guys, again, this is at the school, how many guys are not even how many guys are like just for that gunfight in the hallway, but how many students and everybody are in the auto body shop? Like, wouldn't somebody in the neighborhood drive past and be like, hey, it's a little fishy going on right now? There's a lot of cars at this school.
And why would they do it during the day?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, because the school's open. Clearly, there's no security.
There's none. The janitor who probably lives there.
Yeah.
We didn't see a cop there, but he probably
lives there. He absolutely lives there.
Like Sadler's character in, what was that movie? Gosh, shouldn't they? Like right around this time too. He had a little cot, like an old cot, and like a really like thin, like crappy mattress.
Right.
But no, we didn't see a bed down there, but I'm sure he does live there.
Yeah. But yeah, why are they doing it during the day when there's, you're doing this during the day, having this big shootout when they're easily cops can show up like at any moment, which they don't.
Like you said, they're cops.
Okay, think about that. It's an ongoing battle at this point. You're going to tell me not one teacher called the cops? Like, no, because you have a school filled with kids. There's teachers that have to be the teachers are there. No one called the cops. They didn't hear they didn't hear the gunshots at all. Like the massive amount of gunshots. No one called the cops.
Drunk. That guy's too drunk. And
okay.
Other people
are one guy.
Paperwork.
Or they're probably saying, it's another Monday.
Another Monday. But man, the shootout's really funny, and like just because between Six and Willie, when he goes, go this way, and he goes, oh man, there's no way out over here. Well, you told us to go this way. They were shooting at us. Like they're just like these
even in the heat of the moment, he's still throwing out like funny lines.
Yeah,
and then stopping and putting the gas, the smoke. Yeah.
But even how about when he they're like stuck in the room, all those guys are just firing it on them. So Tree picks up like the oxygen looking tank. I guess they're in the science classroom or whatever it was, puts it by the door. They shoot, it explodes. All of the guys get knocked out.
But no one inside the room got knocked out?
They're fine. It only
Like,
exploded through the
I was
door,
gonna say,
not on the side of the door.
because the way he angled it, it was as long as you face it, it only explodes during the direction it faces. Because it should have had the same explosion to the other side, and there was nothing.
Nothing. But now at this point, because it was like a firefight they were ready for, they're out of bullets. So this is when the janitor, Willie, goes, "Oh, well, I have guns downstairs." And they go back to the same place that we've seen already. And he opens up like, I think it's like it looks like an old, not an oil burner, but one of those big things. He opens it up and it's just like a ton of guns just laying in a pile, unsafely kept.
Okay, you're in a school that has massive violence. You're not afraid of students wandering in the basement and finding a stash of guns? Also? Yeah. Oh, it's so stupid. All right.
And the canisters, the old knockout canisters work just in time. How about the fact that they don't get knocked out?
Not at all. It didn't affect them. Again, nothing in this movie affected them. There was only 6 gets shot, right? He's the only one that got shot. Does Willie get shot?
Yeah. No,
Willie
didn't get shot.
Okay.
Yeah, no, 6 did get shot. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. And he's still like, you wouldn't even know because he was still a champ.
He was fine. Yeah. He actually didn't know he got shot. I think he said, "Oh, you've been hit," and he goes, "Oh," and there's blood. And it's like, "Oh, okay." So, but yeah, the canisters were just in time. Like,
where did Willie get all that stuff?
Everybody that wants to go in the basement, they have to pay the toll.
So you think he does like tours in the basement?
For like students, maybe students grab their own grandpa's like memorabilia or something. I don't know.
Or maybe it's like those are the guns that the students brought to school, and then
maybe
and so how like teachers take cell phones, they take their guns and just.
Hey Willie, can you bring the guns down to the gun place so they can get destroyed? Oh yeah, don't you worry, I'll take them down. And he walks right down to the basement, just keeps piling them up. But dude, the one thing that's very satisfying. And I think we've talked about this in a lot of movies that maybe the beginnings were like, this is like trucking along. One I think of is like Escape Plan 3. But like, again, give me an end fight scene. No matter what, like let me leave whatever movie, good, bad, indifferent. Even if it's the greatest movie ever, if the last scene sucks. Sometimes I'll be so hung up on that. And in this one, they give us what we want. Like a nice one-on-one fight scene, not long, like the perfect amount of action.
And again, that's what you want. You want the main bad guy and the main good guy to have that lethal weapon moment, and fight it out. And one part of this fight that I like that they could have went a different way, but the light bulb. Right, like a lot of times he would have broke the light bulb and cut him, but instead he burned him with the light bulb because if you ever touch the light bulb, it hurts. Oof. So the fact that he used it as a burning thing and not as the glass, I like because you don't see anyone use a light bulb as a burning thing, right? So I thought that was pretty cool.
And one thing we forgot when they were just like casually talking about Randall over Kara's dead body, and he's like, "Oh man, he's one of us." So he was like some Green Beret during maybe it was the Gulf War or something. But
right.
But yeah, so then like, oh, this is gonna be kind of a good fight. But yeah, good back and forth. And the one stunt guy, I wanted to get that clip, but I wanted to get the whole movie. But when the stunt guy gets thrown, when they take the fight like outside, oh my god, the guy lands so hard on his head. I was like, oh my god, this guy's probably so hurt.
And where were all the teachers? Because there were all the students outside. There wasn't one teacher.
Yeah. Where were they?
So all the students are there watching these two guys beat the crap out of each other, these grown-ups. And
this is on a Sunday or a Saturday. Nobody else.
Then why were all the students there?
To do the gang stuff, to do the auto shop gang stuff.
No, because there were girls. No, because later on he goes, "All right, everybody back to class." At the end of the movie, he basically says, "All right, everybody back to class."
Oh, yeah, right. Why was that?
Right. So it was during the day.
Scene, but why were there so many? Where those other? So how'd those other gang guys get in the school then? So that's even
because
worse.
There's no security anymore. We said we haven't seen a security guard since he got scanned.
Even worse.
Right. So it was during the day because when he says, so again, they just watched him murder someone, and then he goes, "All right, everybody back to class." What? Like these kids just got traumatized by seeing a murder, and not like a we're talking about with what do you got killed with? You got the
screwdriver through the stomach.
Screwdriver. Okay, that's a pretty brutal murder.
Long screwdriver.
Right. So it's a pretty brutal murder. And now you're telling the kids, all right, show's over, go back to class.
Like the monkey wrench would have been like, oh my god, dude, that monkey wrench, that'd be gross.
They acted like that's something you see every day. Now the party's over, get back to class.
All right, guys, come on. You see one stabbing, you see them all.
I'm an adult, and if I saw that, I wouldn't be able to go to work for a couple of days. These kids are going back to the classroom, which they don't pay attention to begin with. You think they're going to be able to concentrate now?
Yeah, right. That's all they're going to talk about for like years.
But I did like how like the gang guys though like gave him respect at the end.
Yes, they let him go.
Yeah, and you see that in a lot of movies too. Like
when they find out Eduardo was setting them up. That's what we find out. Like Eduardo was setting them up. That's why I would have been good. Yes, I know you're going to say. Go.
I know you could say. Yeah, so I would say it would have been good to see a scene with the gang members getting Eduardo.
Yes.
Like, so
him and his Mustang, he thinks he's getting away. Or even in that next scene, he thinks he's getting away. And then Damien like blocks his car. They get like beat the shit out.
That could have been the end scene. Like they could have made that an end scene. Like just seeing like, him like, again, listening to music and doing whatever. Like, and then all of a sudden the gang guys pull up on the side of him. Something like that.
Yeah, roll credits.
Maybe there's a deleted scene.
Yeah, well, it's better than the ending we got because she says, Carla, I get the house and I'm going to keep it. And there's a spare bedroom. You could stay. His last line of the movie, you have made me very proud. Roll credits. So no answer. Just I'm going to sidestep that one.
I know. And okay, so basically, this is a high school girl who has been traumatized with her father's death, her boyfriend trying to kill her, finding out her boyfriend killed her father, and now he's leaving her once again. So she's going to live alone now. Yeah. In this neighborhood.
All by herself. No friends.
So he literally cares nothing about her. He got what he wanted and he left because this girl is still living in this violent neighborhood by herself. Or the gang members are like, all right, that's the niece. She's untouchable.
Yeah, she's cool now. She's with us.
Yeah. So, I read the synopsis for the next one and he goes to a college.
Love it. So we had to do that one. There's a scene in that one, dude, at a pizzeria. Oof. Fight scene. Great. But so before we talk about the third one, which hopefully that we cover this year, maybe we do a little Psycho 2, Psycho 3, like we did. We're able to do 2 sequels, not back to back, of course, but maybe we'll see that in November, December, because I know we're getting pretty packed. We had some good stuff going on. But so that was Substitute 2, School's Out. Jamie, after we talked about it, I feel like you enjoyed more than you let on in the beginning. Would you recommend someone to watch this movie?
I'm torn. I'm torn because it does have. I'm ripped and torn, and because there definitely is funny parts. The actions are cheesy, and again, the movie is what it is. There's you know what, it's hard to say. I would say watch the movie. Fast forward the dialogue, and just get to the.
But you love the dialogue. You like the classroom.
I know, but it's tough. It's again the classroom's different, but him talking to the girl, and it's like I don't know. I there's definitely parts that that you watch the movie. I would recommend watching it only once. You're not going to want to watch it again.
90 minutes, so it's that perfect. Hey, it's so funny if a movie's an hour 45 and it's bad. I'll be like, oh my god!
Oh, it's rich.
If it's bad and it's like 90 minutes, it's weird.
I like 82 minutes. Like there are some movies that are 82 minutes.
It's like a Canon film. They're all right in that 80 and 90, man.
Yeah, but perfect no. Timing. I mean, I guess watch it. But understand that what you're getting into. So like I said, his jacket doesn't have one rip in it, and he wears it throughout the whole movie. So
it's a good tailor. That's a good ad. If you're the tailor or the manufacturer, man, that's your commercial. Hey, you see this guy? He took on all these gang members, not one scratch. Come on down to Tony's on 10th. So no, I agree. This is a movie that I would definitely perfect cheese. I think it's like that 80s vigilante movie type that they made in the 90s, which I know they did a bunch in the 90s, but it followed that formula of the 80s. So good.
Just seeing the janitor, his entrance,
Willy,
is worth it. I mean, it's just so bizarre.
Sneaking in.
And I mean, literally, right after a fight scene, you see the janitor creep in. So, I mean, like, just for that scene alone, you have to watch.
No, 100%. But it's so funny. We go from this kind of sequel that's kind of like a straight to like VHS to a sequel that the budget, I'm sure, is easily 10 times with Ocean's 8. And for it, I chatted with an actress that in Ocean's 8, which has like Sandra Bullock, like the cast is like, there's a ton of people in it. Jamie said I don't believe he remembered it. But
I don't think I saw it. But I think she plays like his sister or something like that.
Sister, yeah.
Okay.
Sister. I think there's another character in it that I don't think it's Carl Reiner, but there's somebody that is the real connection. But I
have to be honest, I'm not excited about it. So I'm just telling you right now.
It's good.
I know.
It's good.
Okay.
And it's funny, the actress that I'll be talking to next week, her character in Ocean's 8 is Kara. Look at that, perfect lead in. And that is actress Charlotte Kirk. So Charlotte has a movie that looks amazing. It's put out Saban Films, and it's Duchess. It premieres August 8th. It is a badass action movie. She does some stuff in that movie, just in the trailer alone, because I haven't seen the film yet. She's just so badass. She has like a Cockney accent in the trailer, and she's from London. So we talked about, her journey, the fact that as a kid she did a little bit of theater here and there. At 19, somebody goes, "Hey, do you want to go to LA and try this acting thing?" She comes to the States, and then right away she's in movies. Like she's in Fractured, she's in Nonstop, uncredited role, but a Liam Neeson movie, like big name movies. Let's Be Cops. She's in the Bruce Willis Vice movie. So she's working with people, learning from people. She loved working. She talked about working with Bruce Willis, and she talked about just advice she had over the years. Then she started making movies she wanted to make, starting with The Reckoning. She formed a friendship with writer and director Neil Marshall. Then they were doing all these movies together and co-writing all these roles. So, it's a fun one. You got to check out her movies when she stars in them. Badass. The Lair, The Reckoning, great flicks. British films, but so cool. And you make sure you check out Duchess. But Charlotte is one of those people. She's going to be in the Juice movie that's coming out next year. But actually started filming in 2019. Somebody reached out to her when she was doing theater in LA because she does resemble Nicole Brown Simpson. So she's cool, man. She's going to be a star. So I think when that movie comes out, if it gets the release that I've been reading, that maybe that people will be into, even though obviously OJ wasn't a good guy, it should be great for her career. And so you have that to look forward to. Charlotte was awesome. And so don't forget to review, rate, share our podcast. Follow us on all social media at Sequels Only, and don't forget to check out our website, sequelsonly.com. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.